Hey guys, hope everyone's having an awesome day today. I'm so excited. This is our first live, live-ish master teleclass. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint real quick. We're going to give people just another minute or so to jump on, and then we're going to get right down to it. Are you guys ready? Just so you know, I can see you. Well, some of you, like Allie and Michael and Audrey, and I can see you guys. Awesome. Okay, let me see about sharing this screen. Wow, this is amazing. I didn't realize I was going to get to see all you guys. I thought it was just going to be me on the screen and thinking, I wonder if anyone else is out there. All right, Raphael, welcome. Ruth, welcome. Can you guys see each other too? No, you only see me? Oh, okay. Well, let me quickly get something else on the screen.
I can see everyone.
And for everyone else who's here who's not on video, I can just see there's like 10 of you, but I don't know who you all are, but it's all good. So here's how we're going to run the call or the class. I'm going to start off by just going through and doing just straight education and laying a good solid foundation for you guys about remote investing, just kind of the what, the why, the how. I'm just going to lay a lot of information on you. So make sure you have a pen and paper. You have something to take notes. We are recording it, and I am going to put it in the Facebook group, so you will be able to go back and reference it later also, if you want to do that. So that'll be available. And then when I am done just kind of delivering this, this information to you guys, I will open it up for a Q&A. So if you have questions, write them down. I won't take calls in the middle of while I'm teaching the content because it might completely throw us off. And if I see a squirrel, that's it. Like, who knows where the class is going to go? So I'm just being real. All right, so I'll deliver the information to you guys, and then we'll take open Q&A. You can ask pretty much anything that you want. If it's something that's going to be covered in depth on another call that's coming up, I will answer it briefly, and then I will just let you know that we will be doing like a more complete course then. So you guys ready to start? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, lots of heads nodding. Fabulous. All right. Let's see, here we go. Share, start. Okay, beautiful. All right, can everybody see my screen? For those of you who aren't, just give me a head nod if you can see it, okay? It would say Warriors of Wealth, Investing Remotely Masterclass.
Yes, we can.
Yes, 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 yes. Good, good, good. Okay, very good. And I think you guys are gonna have to bear with me a little bit as I figure out this technology. Okay, and then on Wednesday, we have another masterclass on Wednesday that is gonna be about how to analyze deals. And when we do that one, I'm gonna try out, we upgraded our Zoom account yesterday to be able to do webinar style so that we could do it live streaming on Facebook. But I didn't have time to test it out, and I didn't really want to experiment a whole lot with our first one. So we're gonna do it this way. But on Wednesday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys know all your times in between. We're gonna do the next masterclass. We'll do it webinar style. So stay tuned for all that goodness. All right, so this is going to be the class. I'm going to take off my my glasses so we don't have that super fabulous circle glare, but this is going to be the class on investing remotely. All right, so first question is, what does remote even mean? And if you have your thing and it's not on mute, if you can mute it during the time that we're not in Q&A, that would be awesome. So what does remote mean? So it means something different for different people, right? So if you are remote, it means you are not physically present. It means the property is somewhere other than where you are. And there's a lot of different reasons, and I'm going to cover them in just a minute, of why you would even want to do that. But actually, I can't see you guys, and I can't talk to just myself. So glasses are going on. Sorry about the circle lights. It's just how it's going to have to be. So being remote means, so Jennifer and I, we're in San Diego. I don't know if you guys can see her back there. You might be able to see her on the screen. You see her hand waving back there? She's going to be actually teaching you. She's going to be actually teaching you guys the BRRRR strategy next week. I think it's next Monday. We have a masterclass on doing the buy, renovate, rent out, refinance strategy. So, so Jennifer and I, we live in San Diego, and we invest all over the country, but not in San Diego. If you think about it for our purposes, for cash flow, if you know anything about San Diego, what you know is that it's just really expensive here, and it doesn't make sense for cash flow. Like, and the rents are high, but they're not that high. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. If we buy something here, the only kind of cash flow we're going to get is negative cash flow, and we're not about to do that. So we have to be able to invest remotely, which means we need to be able to build a team and manage our business from someplace other than where we are. And one of the reasons I appreciate that we have this knowledge and how to do that is because even when we decide to go on vacation, or when our kids are grown and we're grandparents and we want to travel wherever the grandkids are, we're not restricted by where we physically are located. And a lot of people, when they're building their business, if you never learn about remote investing or how to do remote investing, you're really trapped physically, just like you are at a job, unless you happen to be like, Michael, who's, in England working in San Diego. Okay, so once in a while you get to be, superstar at what you do, and you can do it remotely. But for most people, you're kind of stuck where you are when you build a business that way. So I have really been passionate for many, many years about freeing up investors who are either flipping or doing cash flow. Like either way, not building a business that physically requires you to be there. Because the whole purpose of this was to create freedom, right? If you were getting into passive cash flow, the purpose was to create financial freedom. So along with financial freedom, in my opinion, you should be doing location freedom as well. So like one of the things that a couple of years ago, we went on vacation, and Jennifer and I managed somehow to get all 4 kids, babysitting for all 4 kids, and got away for like 5 days. And we went to the Bahamas. And 1 week before we left, we had closed on 3 different properties in 3 different markets. So we had 3 different sets of contractors, 3 different, sets of realtors, 3 different sets of everything. And we were gone for a week, and we weren't working on our business the whole time. I'd spend about 20 minutes a day between the 2 of us, just updating people or giving an answer or answering a question here and there. About 20 minutes a day over text or on the phone. Like it was so simple, but we weren't tied to where they were. And they were in Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Kansas City. We lived in San Diego, and we were in the Bahamas, right? So it doesn't matter where our physical body is. When you learn to do this, you're free. You're free to go to Italy for 2 months if you want to, if you're in that position, and you can still do your business, all right? So why are people resistant to the idea? And I know this will probably resonate with some of you, not at all, right? So the first thing is just your perception of control. So you are under the belief, usually, that if you can go touch it, see it, feel it, smell it, lick it, whatever you want to do to it, like whatever you want to do in person, that you have control of the deal, the circumstances, the contractor, the realtors, because you're there in person, all right? And that's a very common misperception, because regardless of whether you're there or not, you are dealing with business owners that are their own business owners running their own business. You don't have any control over them just because your physical body is located in the same city that they are. Okay, so that's one thing I really want to just break down for you guys, all right? The other thing is there's a couple of issues that come with staying in your own market. And not that it's an issue to stay in your own market. It's an issue if you don't know how to do anything else and you're stuck doing that. And you're like, well, no, I really need to do that because I know my market. But here's the deal. Do you really know your market as well as you think you do? You might know your market as a consumer, as someone who lives there, but you're not a full-time realtor, well, unless you happen to be. But generally speaking, investors are not full-time realtors working with people at that price point, at that neighborhood, right? So there's a lot of things that you might believe you know about your market that don't necessarily translate when you're talking about doing real estate investing, okay? And so there's a tendency to overvalue the knowledge that you have of your market, which can also translate into doing less due diligence because you have this underlying belief that, well, I already know. And that's a dangerous mistake that new investors sometimes make that get them in trouble and can ultimately end up losing you money. So it's not that you can't do real estate at home. However, if you're going to let down your guard at all or believe that you have more control of the deal than you really do, then that could really incapacitate you. So if you're doing it somewhere else, you already know you're going to do the maximum due diligence on every person that's on your team because you're not there. Well, you should do the same thing at home. We just don't tend to do that. All right. Okay, and then why should you learn to invest remotely? I feel like I already covered that. Well, but let me give you some numbers to this. So like I said, we're in San Diego, and Jennifer and I both do flipping and we do cash flow. And our focus right now for this group and for the education that we're doing and the groups we're putting together is more about cash flow right now. However, we've done both. But even if someone comes to me and they say, oh, I want to fix and flip, and you live in San Diego, I want to invest in San Diego, why don't you invest there? Well, let me tell you why. So in San Diego and in Southern California in general, there's actually a lot of cash buyers, like legitimate, I have all cash, I can buy something. And there's a lot of people who have cash here. So if they don't know how to invest remotely, and they don't, because this is not a strategy that many people know how to do, and it's really just come about probably in the last 15 years where it was even possible. Because if you think about it, we really have to rely on a lot of tools that have only come about in the last 10 or 15 years. So this is not a strategy that's been around for a really long time, and most people don't know how to do it, or they're afraid to do it because they don't have the knowledge, or it's too far outside their mental, like just where they're at to jump there. So that means there's a whole bunch of people in one little pool that are all trying to invest in the same couple of fixers that are on the market. And so what that means is if I want to put my money to work, I'm going to have to offer higher and higher and higher just to get the deal, because there's more and more people and fewer properties, because everyone's trying to fish out of the same pond. So does that make sense to you guys? Like there's a lot of people, there's a few properties, and so the only way someone's going to get a deal is if they offer more. Well, if you offer more, you're going to have a smaller profit, a smaller margin. And the downside of that is it increases your risk. So if you're operating with a very small margin and one thing goes wrong, and guess what? It's real estate. So it's going to go wrong. The question is just more like to what extent or how much. Maybe it's just a small thing, but maybe it's a big thing. And if you squeeze your margins too much, that big thing could turn it from being profitable to unprofitable very quickly. And we're just not about doing that. So investing remotely allows you to go wherever the deals make sense, not trying to compete in a tiny little market. Now, for the cash flow side of it, there's going to be there's some markets where cash flow works, right? And the quick analysis is called the 1% rule. And I do not use the 1% rule in any kind of analysis at any depth, but it's good for you being able to at least determine whether a market is worth moving forward and then looking more into or not. And just the very basics of that means if you're buying a house for $200,000, if it doesn't rent for $2,000 a month, so 1% of the purchase price, then it's not going to make sense. Okay, so as a market, if you look kind of very quickly at what are the home prices and what are the rents, if the rents are at not at least 1%, you just move on. All right, and that's probably all of Southern California would fit into that. So if people are trying to do cash flow in Southern California, what you'll find is you're bumping your head against a wall a lot. It's super frustrating, but the reality is the values of property are just too high here compared to the rent, so it just doesn't end up working. All right. Now let's talk about the how. So the key to investing remotely, and this makes it sound oversimplified, but just at the very highest level, the key to investing remotely is we're going to be leveraging local professionals, meaning local to those markets. All right, so I'm going to talk about kind of how to find some of them. I might change my screen share and just give you some visuals. I set up a couple things before we got on the call, but let me just first kind of run down what those team members are, and then I'll talk about some of the different places you can find them, and I'll show you like an example for some of them. All right, but the whole process is you're going to reach out to some market, any market USA. You're going to need to have a realtor there, and you're going to need to have contractors if you're rehabbing. You're going to need an inspector, title companies, an insurance company, etc. So you need people, but you want people who are there, because nobody's going to know the market better than the people who work there full-time in their profession, which is what you're hiring them to do. All right. And before I get into kind of giving you some of the different resources for finding them, I want to talk to you a minute about just your overall approach. So there's this certain kind of personality type, which I have, unfortunately, sometimes, where you just want to be told how to do everything. Like, here's how to do it. Jennifer's laughing back there because we have ongoing conversations about this. But there's certain personality types. They tend to be like accountant, engineer, just very methodical, black and white, where You just want to know, okay, well, how to do it? How do I do this? How do I do that? And here's the reality. In this business, nothing lends itself very easily to just, it's either this or that. It's this or that, or it could be any one of these shades of gray, right? So one of the skill sets that you're going to want to develop as a real estate investor is just this overall approach. I say to business and life. It's being willing to just jump in and research. And like Google, like they say GTS, right? Google that stuff, right? Google it. Like if I want to find something, Google it. How do I do it? Get on YouTube. Like take time to just dig into it, because no matter where you're learning different things, you're going to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you're going to go to apply it in real life, and you're going to find it's some version of that, because every single transaction you do is a little bit different, right? So just being curious about things is going to take you a long way. Being willing to do research, being willing to reach outside of what I or anyone else just tells you, to go dig in a little bit further when you get stuck on something, is probably one of the best skills that you can develop, whether you already have it or whether you're going to be learning it. All right, so let's go into some of these. Oh, not yet. Logistics. Oh yes, logistic. Okay, so here's the deal. Logistically speaking, all we're talking about is modern technology. Cell phone, computer, and as a bonus, there's helpful apps out there. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Marco Polo, but let me see. Where did I put my phone? Oh, can you hand me my phone, babe? All right, I'm going to show you guys something. Thank you. So has anyone heard of the app Marco Polo before? Yeah, got some nods, got some that sideways nods, up and down nods. Okay, different nods. And I'm looking further down. Some of you, okay. So Marco Polo, I'm going to show you on my, I guess I have to.
Everybody thinks you're talking about the game we play in the pool.
Oh, not the pool game, Marco Polo. Let's see. Okay, so it's a different kind of Marco Polo. Okay, so there's my phone. This is what it looks. There's Jennifer in the background. Isn't she pretty? I'm a big fan, obviously.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I care. Okay. All of you should care. Okay. All right. So here's the app. It's called Marco Polo. It looks like a beach ball. All right. I'm going to show you. So let me give you some context. So Marco Polo is a great app when you have team members that are in another market. Even if they're in your home market, it's not like they're in your house, right? Your team members are not sitting in your living room, right? They're out doing their own thing. So you want to have a method of being able to communicate with them that doesn't require you all to be available at the same moment at the same time. And Ellie and Michael, this is what I was messaging you guys about the other day. So now this is cool. You'll be able to see it. So I have a private coaching student who's going through the process of due diligence right now. And she asked me some question, and I was like, hey, start a group Marco Polo with your contractor and your realtor. I said, and put me on it just so I'll watch, but I won't say anything. So they won't really know I'm there. Anyway, so she had basically got on and was communicating, hey, I need this information or that information. And then the contractor got on and was communicating, and then the realtor got on. So I'm not going to drag you through the whole conversation, but I wanted to just give you a visual. If it was on my computer, I'd share the screen, but it's not. It's a phone app. So I'm going to give you just a visual of what that looks like. And then it's something that I insist that every team member in every market I work in, that they download and that they learn. Because the convenience factor of it is just, it's up here. Because I'm not available at the same time that they're available. For one, we have a time zone difference. I'm in San Diego. I have some people on the East Coast, and we're not available at the same time. I've got 4 kids and school and clients and different things. So I can't get on a call at the same time that they can necessarily, right? So let me show you what that looks like. Okay.
Hey, Adrian and Nathan. I'm setting up this group, Marco Polo, so we could communicate about what needs to get done, make this.
Okay, so that was her name is Batel. That was her basically just establishing for them, hey, this is what we're doing. She would have talked to each of them individually already to give them a heads up. All right.
Okay, this is the group chat.
This is the contractor.
So you have fire damaged wood up here.
Giving a visual so that
addressed.
she can see what's going on.
For inspector purposes, I already know.
And then he goes on to ask different questions like, hey, I need to know where to put the bathroom and that. Batel jumps back on.
Hey, Adrian, thank you. I'm waiting for Nathan to respond because he had a lot of visions about how he thought.
Okay, so she's just establishing, hey, kind of trying to get Nathan's attention. Nathan's the realtor. And then we have Nathan.
Hey, Patel and Adrian, or Andrian, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This is Nathan. Sorry, still up in southern Michigan.
So I won't drag you through the whole conversation, but the point is they were able to start having this dialogue back and forth. Now, Nathan is local in the market. He's the realtor. Adrian is the contractor, also local in the market. Patel is on the other side of the country. But through this app, she's able to communicate with them. The contractor is able to say, here's what's going on, here are my questions. Sometimes the questions are for the investor to answer, and sometimes the investor needs the realtor to give input on it. So by having that group kind of conversation, that basically helps facilitate it. So one, that's a technology, piece of technology that allows you to be anywhere, but communicate with your full team. All right, let me get back to our little PowerPoint. Share. Okay, anyway, so really with cell phone, computer, Marco Polo, you can pretty much be anywhere and invest anywhere else. All right. Okay, so all research that we do initially, all that research is going to be online. Again, you don't have to physically go drive to a market to learn about the population. It's not like you're going to drive around counting people, right? You're going to do research online as far as the population growth, the employment growth trends. All of this is at your laptop, wherever your physical body is. You can research 5 different markets, within a couple of hours, just, with your bunny slippers on, sitting in your living room, if you have bunny slippers. And if you don't, whatever slippers you like. All right, and then you can look up the city comprehensive plan, which lets you know what's coming in an area. And all of this is in the 14-day challenge. For those of you who've already taken it, this will be familiar because I literally walk you through how to do this. So I'm not going to spend time on this class because I already have given that to you guys. And if you don't have it, you can always message me and I'll get that 14-day challenge over to you. All right, so let's talk about building your team. So we have realtors are going to be just probably your most key member of your team when you're investing remotely. You need somebody on the ground who's going to go do things for you when you're in those initial phases. And you have to think from their standpoint, well, why are they incentivized to do that? Why would they? Well, because as you buy property, they're going to make commission. Now, if you're buying it and selling it, then it's even more compelling because they'll get 2 commissions. But when you're a buy and hold investor, we can't really dangle that carrot of the sale. But what you can dangle the carrot of is, look, I'm just looking to start with 1, but once I buy 1 and I get going in a market, I'm probably just going to keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And if you think about it from the standpoint of the BRRRR strategy, buy, renovate, rent, and refinance, a lot of times you're pulling the majority, if not all, of your capital back out. So it's a strategy that allows you to just do it over and over and over. Well, if you like a market, you're going to go deep there, and that realtor services you really well, you're going to use the same realtor over and over and over. I remember in 2018, we had a realtor in one market who made 17 commissions that year from us. And it was on the first one, it was like some rinky-dink little property. Like it wasn't even $30,000. It was, I can't even believe we bought a property that cheap. But she made almost nothing on it. But her service was exemplary. So as we started buying more and more and more, and our price point started going higher and higher and higher, she was like our go-to realtor. So she made a grip of money that year. Well, and the following year too, because we continue to use her. We refer her because of that. All right. So your realtors are incentivized based on the ongoing commissions that they'll make as you continue to buy and or refer people to them. But that's why they would, because sometimes people get hung up on, why would they do that for me? Well, if you're good about helping to build the vision for them, they're going to understand that there's a lot of money to be made. And especially if you compare it to, what do realtors normally make commission on? Homeowners, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to spend weekend after weekend driving the homeowners around, showing them properties, and then eventually they'll write an offer, and eventually there'll be an acceptance, and then they make 1 commission. And how long? 5 years, 10 years, maybe only 1 time. Well, with us, we buy over and over and over, right? You kind of get addicted, and you just kind of eventually can't really stop because it's really fun. Make money in real estate. All right, so realtors are really important for you. If you're going to be rehabbing, contractors are obviously going to be your next most important team member. Now, you don't have to rehab when you're doing buy and hold investing. There's a couple of different things you can do. You can either buy a property that's already performing, meaning there's even tenants in there already, and so you're not going in to do massive rehab on those typically, or you can buy a property that's already been rehabbed, or it's just move-in ready, in which case you don't need a general contractor. At that point, you just need a property manager. Or you buy a fixer-upper. Again, that's with the BRRRR strategy. So you buy a fixer-upper, you hire a licensed and experienced general contractor to come in and do the complete renovation of the property. And then once it's done, you bring in your property manager to come in and do all the marketing and place the tenants. All right, so contractors is going to be a big one. Home inspectors. Here's the deal. If you are ever going to spend any time in our Facebook group, if you're going to be in any of the courses that you're at, I'm going to have to insist that you raise your hand right now and you solemnly swear that you will always, with no exception, get a home inspection before you're out of your due diligence period. Okay, like it's one of those things where when you're in a deal, particularly when you're new and like funds might be tight, you're like, I don't want to spend another $400, like so much extra money. I'm telling you what, I think to say that I've made every mistake in the book would be an understatement, because not only have I made every mistake in the book, I'm pretty sure I've done some of them multiple times. This is one that you'll want to stab yourself in the face with a fork over. It's $400 for a home inspection. All right, it's $400. It can save you tens of thousands of dollars. So either one, you might end up backing out of the deal if the deal doesn't work, or two, you become aware of an issue that you can go get a price reduction for. So it's just something that if you're ever tempted, please take the fork, go ahead and stab yourself in the face right then, because you'll feel the pain of what it's going to feel like if you move forward without the inspection. Okay? Like, just don't do it. You got to do it. It will give you leverage to renegotiate the price, and or it will tell you this is not going to work and you're going to be sorry if you move forward with it. Okay, home inspection is one of the best things that you can do in your business. All right, what else? Lenders. So with lenders, it really depends on what your strategy is going to be. It also depends on who you are as a borrower. So some people as borrowers, like they have a job, they've got, W-2 income, they have a great credit score. So if you're buying a rental property that's just buy and hold investing, it's already performing, you can go to a traditional lender, put down your down payment, and you can buy it. Like a conventional lender, you can go to Wells Fargo or Bank of America, whatever, and just buy it. But a lot of people, and especially a lot of people in this group, aren't necessarily going to be the ideal borrower. Either you're an entrepreneur, so you don't have W-2 income, or you might have W-2 income, but you don't have great credit. For whatever reason, most people that I work with do not fit the mold of going traditional lender. So in that case, there's a different kind of lender out there. Sometimes we call them hard money lenders, private money lenders, but they're lenders that are more asset-based, as opposed to your personal income or personal credit based. And those are really the lenders that are going to make more sense. Now, if you're, and there's lots of hard money lenders out there that do rental loans. That's actually very common right now because, the economy goes through these cycles, these ups and downs, and flipping's been super hot for a very long time. And because of that, most hard money lenders go, at some point it's going to probably slow down, but they still want to make sure that their money is at work. So they start offering rental loans. So that's one thing that I've started seeing over the last year or two. More and more lenders are offering rental loans, even long-term 30-year ones. So you can go, if you don't fit the traditional mold of W-2 income, high income earner with great credit score, you're going to be looking at hard money lenders who do asset-based lending or lend on rental, like rental loans. Okay, so that's something you're looking at. If you're going to buy a property that's a fixer-upper, fix it up, get it rented, and then refinance, then you're for sure going to use a hard money loan, because conventional lenders don't loan on that kind of property. All right, they don't. That's the kind of asset that would be considered too risky for them. And I was realizing last night as I was kind of tying the rest of the stuff together and putting this into PowerPoint form that I could probably do an entire masterclass just on funding, all the different types and how to analyze them and all that stuff. So as I'm saying that, I realize I'm going to do that at some point, probably in the next few weeks. So you guys can keep your eyes open for that. But I'll teach you more about that so you know like what to expect from them. How much will they lend on the purchase? How much will they lend on the rehab? How does that whole thing work as far as refinancing it? And also on Wednesday's financial analysis call, I'll talk a little bit more about that because that does tie into the whole financial analysis as well. All right, we're also going to build our property managers. All right, so the property manager is going to be the company that you're going to hire to basically take care of your property once it's already renovated. So they're going to advertise it for rent, screen the tenants, help the tenants move in, sign the lease, handle the maintenance requests, handle evictions when necessary, handle move-outs, etc. It's the people who are physically on the ground who have all the systems in place. We need an insurance agent, which the insurance agent doesn't have to be local. There's a company called National Real Estate Insurance Group that one of my hard money lenders told me about a couple years ago. It seems that they're pretty much national. And then you can also Google like local insurance agents. But there's two different kinds of insurance that you guys might end up dealing with. If you're buying something that's just, it's already performing, or you're going to, or it's already move-in ready, you're just getting a landlord policy. It's a typical homeowner policy. But one of the add-ons that it has on there, which is a very good idea, is loss of rents. So if something happened to the property, there was a fire, and you're out of commission for 4 or 5 months, you still get the rental income from that, from your insurance policy. All right, and then if you're renovating, so if you're buying a fixer-upper, you're doing a renovation, you're gonna get an insurance policy that's called builder's risk. And it's a specific policy. You can't live in it, nobody can be living there while the property is vacant and being renovated. And it's more expensive, but it's to cover the property during the renovation. And then once you're ready to move people in, then you change it to a new kind of insurance. All right, and then the last member of the team is your title company. So with title companies, in some markets across the US, it's customary for the buyer to choose the title company. And in other markets, it's customary for the seller to choose the title company. And you don't necessarily have to know that. The main thing I want you to know about that is if it's customary for the seller to choose the title company, when you go to submit your first offer, it will actually be in the offer form already because it's in the realtor's notes. So when your realtor writes up the offer, it'll say who the title company is. If it's customary for the buyer to choose a title company, your realtor is going to ask you, what do you want as far as who do you want the title company to be? And my answer to them is, unless I've done a lot of deals in that same market with the same title company, title companies are kind of a commodity for us. So what I'll tell them is, well, who do you have a relationship with? Because frankly, it doesn't really matter to me, but I do want to have someone that if they needed to put a rush on something or get a favor done to get something kind of pushed up or pushed back, that it's something they have a relationship with. Okay, so there's not really anything that you guys need to do as far as title companies, but I wanted to walk you through some of the places that you can find some of the other ones. So if you have pen and paper, get ready to start writing, because I'm going to lay down some knowledge on you guys kind of quickly. All right, so let's start with realtors. With realtors, you can find realtors on Zillow, and that's what I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. So Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin, good old Google, and Facebook. These days, so many different businesses have Facebook pages that you can probably put realtor in whatever city, realtor in Sarasota, Florida, and you're going to have a bunch of realtors that come up that have Facebook pages for their real estate business. All right, for contractors, there's a whole bunch of different websites. And my main point to all of you guys is, again, when I was doing a presentation once at a mastermind, a couple of months ago, and at the end of it, one of the guys had said, I'm just curious, like, this is very interesting how you've built this entire portfolio and you've never even seen any of these properties, but I don't get it. Like, how do you hire a contractor if you're not there? So my question to him, which I'll ask you that same question because it makes you kind of shift your mindset, is, well, even if you are at home, how do you find a contractor? Are you literally just walking around in your neighborhood? Like, just randomly roaming the streets looking for a contractor? No, you're not going to do that. So what difference does it make if you're there? You're still going to open your laptop or your computer and you're going to pick up the phone and call people. So you can do that anywhere. So it's just a mindset shift. Like, nothing that we do even in our home market, like, you don't walk around looking for team members. You don't walk around looking for property managers. You're still going to pick up the phone and call, right? So it's the same kind of thing. All right, so anyway, my main point is all these resources are online. So for contractors, here's a few websites that I find contractors on. Home Advisor, Angie's List, which they look so much alike now that I'm starting to think that maybe one owns the other one. That's possible. House.com, and that is spelled Houzz, house.com. There's another one called Porch, like Porch, like your front porch. Thumbtack has been one of my favorites that I don't know. How many people have you hired off of Thumbtack? We've probably hired like,
At least a dozen.
like at least a dozen, like probably 20. And Thumbtack is everything from general contractors to fence installers, a concrete guy, a handyman, a guy that does blinds, a wedding photographer, someone who does hair, massage therapist. Like it's a website for service providers where like Porch and House are more like contractor related. So, but Thumbtack has every different service provider. We've had a lot of success using Thumbtack. So that's one. And then good old Craigslist. Okay, Craigslist under the skilled labor. And like I said, I'm going to show you, I can't remember which one I pulled up on my screen. I think it's House. So I'll show you what that looks like. Oh yeah, and also like Google, good old Google, and Facebook, same kind of thing. Contractors in, put your city, and see what comes up. The whole thing is don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And by dirty, I mean type on your keyboard. Like just get out there in the research and see what you can find. All right, for home inspectors, that's going to be a lot smaller of a group because what I'm going to tell you is there's a group of home inspectors that have a certification and it's called ASHI. It's spelled ASHI, and it stands for the American Society of Home Inspectors. And they have the highest level of training. It's the hardest certification to get in the home inspection arena. So I always want to get an ASHI certified home inspector because it increases the chances that your home inspector legitimately has knowledge. There are parts of the country where there is no requirement for there to be a license for the home inspector. It's driven by the city. It's like the state of Texas doesn't actually have a general contractor license. So there are no licensed general contractors in the whole state of Texas. So, but there are licensed like HVAC and electrical and plumbing. So you just have to, you gotta know the different markets as you get going in there, and you'll find out what's available. But with home inspectors, there's some parts where there's no certification required. So ASHI is an independent third party that requires a lot of different training, a lot of different testing before they can get it. So even if you're working in a market where the state or the city doesn't require that they have some kind of certification or specific background, but they're ASHI certified, it gives you a level of, okay, well, at least I know that they've been through that and they tend to be more qualified. All right, and then also you can also Google for home inspectors. I always suggest starting with ASHI, and that website is ashi.org, O-R-G. For property managers, pretty much for the most part, I'm using Google. You can also try Facebook for property managers. For insurance, Google, and that National Real Estate Insurance Group, which that website is NREIG.com. NREIG, like National Real Estate Insurance Group.com. And then title companies we already talked about. So let me just give you guys a visual for some of these. Oops, okay, screen sharing has stopped. Fabulous. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we'll start with realtors. And like I said, Zillow, realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin, there's lots of different ways to find it. This is Zillow. Zillow has something that's kind of cool. It's called the Agent Finder. So right up here, so if you just go to Zillow.com and then you click on Agent Finder, it takes you to a page that will ask you for a location. And just in case my internet was going slow, I just picked a market for all of these things, because that would be terrible if I tried to do it and then all of a sudden the internet got stuck. So I did Cleveland, Ohio, and this is what the page looks like. So you come down here, and so you're starting off, these are some like the page one realtors. They tend to be the ones that are the biggest into marketing, why they're on page one. So if you click on Michael Izam, he's got it looks like he has a man bun. So, we give him a shot. Let's see. All right. So if you click on it, you can see this is Michael. He's got 4.9 out of 5 ratings out of 73 reviews. It shows the people on his team. And then it talks about their different specialties. Oh, interesting. Okay, I actually didn't look into this before, but that was good happenstance. So if you were looking into this market as a buy and hold market, I would be interested in talking to this individual because specialties, buyer's agent. Okay, cool, because that's what I'm looking for. Listing agent, not looking for that, but that's nice that he does that. Investment, okay, ding, ding, ding. Property management, ding, ding, ding. Landlord, ding, ding, ding. So what that tells me is this guy probably knows our business. So when we call saying, hey, I'm looking for rental properties that I can, buy in decent areas or maybe do some fix up and rent out, this is someone who's not going to be like, wait, what do you want to do? And I don't know anything about it. He probably is going to know some stuff, right? And then you have the contact information down here. So their address, their phone number, their websites. So look at that website, blog, Facebook, Twitter. So this is someone that has a lot of social media. Okay, so this is a really great resource, Zillow, for locating agents in a market, as well as the other ones. All right, so the next one was contractors, right? So the contractors, the one I was going to show you is house.com. Now, when you go there, it didn't have houses. It was a different beginning thing, but I just clicked on general contractors and I threw in a zip code. All right, so the zip code was an Indianapolis zip code. So here's what it brought up: 1,281 Indianapolis, Indiana general contractors. So if you go down a little bit, it has, and you can mess with this. So it says within 50 miles. I can shore that up a little bit. So if I have the zip code of the property that I'm looking at, whatever, I don't remember what zip code I put in there, but now that took it from over 1,000 to 500. Narrowed it right down, right? Now you only have 500 to call. No big deal. All right. So it talks about, it has the name of the company, has how many reviews, which gives you an idea of how long they've been maybe on the site. And it talks about like, what do they do? Lifestyle Group offers a full spectrum of residential remodeling and design build expertise to the homeowner. And then you can click on more information to read more about their company and get their phone number and stuff. All right, there we go. So it just shows, and they have like some awards and affiliations and badges, but we don't need no stinking badges. So I don't know what the badges mean. Oh, then we have their address and they have their license number. So if you are doing renovation, you do want to use licensed contractors as long as you're in a place that have licenses. So that's one thing that we know that they do. All right, and then you have down here, I don't know if you guys can see because your faces are over it. So I'm going to move you over to the other side of my computer. And they have a little thing here, contact me or click to call, or you can go to their website. All right, so it just takes digging in there and finding the people. Okay, so that's contractors. And that's, again, one of many of the websites for home inspectors. So this was the Oshi.org. And I went ahead and put a zip code in right there. And when I did that and hit find nearby inspectors, I scroll down a little bit, it gives me a list of all of the different OSHI certified home inspectors in that area. So if you look right here, we have inspector, and then we have OSHI certified inspector, OSHI certified inspector. Oh, that's our inspector right there. I think he's made, I don't know, $15,000 from us in the last couple of years because we've done so much business in that area and we just love him. And at the time, there was really only a few. He happened to be one of them, but now it looks like there's a lot more. So you go down and you can look to see who's certified as an inspector, their phone numbers, and yeah. And it just gives you an idea. Oh, part of it is why there's so many is this is a very big map. At the time I originally did this, I narrowed it down to a smaller area so I could try to find an inspector that was in the area where I was doing rehabbing. Okay, but that's what the OSHI Certified Home Inspector website looks like. All right, for lenders, again, good old Google. So I Googled hard money lenders rental programs. I didn't have any specific things. I'm like, let me just see what I can find. So you have a website here for connected investors, lending club, private money gold mine. Some of these look like they're just lists of other lenders, but if you go down a little bit further, you'll start seeing some specific lenders. So Vizio Lending, hard money lenders can join the blah, blah, blah program. Bridgewell Capital, I don't love them, but whatever, they're there. Hard Money Man, he seemed to have a good program, but he was rude, frankly, so I don't like him either. But anyway, I haven't used him yet. You have all these different hard money lenders, and then of course you can go on to future pages. So you just got to dig in there. And if you're doing a project in a certain market, you can also put the name of that city into the search. to bring up something that is a little bit more specific. And then property managers, I Googled property managers in Cleveland, Ohio. So we had allpropertymanagement.com, Thumbtack. Well, that was interesting. I never thought to look at Thumbtack for property managers, but that's a possibility. And then as you go down, you see Capital Property Management, Western Reserve, Capital Property Management, and phone numbers. So this is where and how you're basically going to come and build your team. It's all from your laptop, right? Regardless of whether it's your home market or not, you're still sitting on your laptop doing it. So you just want to make sure that you're investing where it makes sense. All right, let's get back to our fabulous thing there. All right. Okay. Now we did this. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the process. Let me just kind of get this on the computer, and then we'll talk about it. All right, there we go. Okay, so the whole process start to finish. So when you guys are going to be investing, you have to start off with properties, right? I only talked about realtors, but another source of properties potentially would be wholesalers. But the only thing about wholesalers, like you still want to have a realtor in a market because wholesalers aren't really in the business of going and running around for you or helping you with stuff. They have a property under contract that's available for sale. But I've bought a few properties from wholesalers and they've been great, but I also had a realtor in the market who was able to actually help me with logistics and stuff. So you want to get properties, whether that's wholesale or listings from your realtor. And then you want to get comparable sales. The reason you want to get, or comps is short for comparable sales. The reason you want to get comps is when you guys are looking at whatever your strategy is, whether you're holding it for rent or you're going to buy it and do the burst strategy, or if you're going to buy it and sell it, if you don't know what ultimately it's worth either now or when you're done renovating it, if you're renovating it, it's very difficult to predict how the deal will go. All right. Obviously, if you're buying it, fixing it, and selling it, you got to know what you're going to sell it for and how much you're going to rehab it for. Otherwise, you don't know how much you could pay for it. But it's very similar if you're buying a fixer, you're going to renovate it and then refinance it. If you don't know what that property is going to be worth when you're done renovating it, it's very hard to know, okay, well, if it's going to be worth $200,000 when I'm done, and the hard money lender is going to give me 70% of that as a refinance loan, then okay, that's $140,000. So I know my end loan is $140,000. So I have to be able to buy it and renovate it and account for my holding costs enough to know that when I refinance it at $140,000, I'm able to recoup, X percentage of my capital or all my capital, whatever your goal is. But if you didn't know that $200,000 was your end number, how are you going to know what the most is that you can pay? All right. So the reason we ask for comps is to figure out what will the property be worth when we're done executing our strategy. All right. So once you get properties with comps in, you're going to analyze the deal. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, the financial analysis side of it. You're going to analyze the property. You're going to come up with your offer price, and you're going to communicate that offer to the realtor. All right. And you'd email the realtor, here's the information for the offer. They're going to write that up on a state form, and they'll send it back to you. You'll DocuSign it or some kind of electronic signature. There's AuthentiSign, DocuSign, .loop. There's lots of them out there now. And then they will basically take that offer and they will submit it to the seller's agent. Okay, that's the process of that. And you might hear no, 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 or you might get a counteroffer at one point, but at some point you're going to get a yes. Okay. And the reason that you get a lot of no's in this business is because what we can pay in order for it to meet our criteria and for it to be financially viable for us and what the seller wants are oftentimes two different things. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just is what it is. So if you go in with the mindset of it's just a numbers game, I'm going to make offer, 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 offer. I'm not going to get emotionally attached to literally any property until I own it. That allows you to more easily navigate through the beginning parts of when you're doing this. All right. So you're going to make your offers, and eventually at some point you're going to get yes. You're going to get an accepted offer. So when you get an accepted offer, one of the things that you should be doing when you're putting in your initial offer is requesting a 10-day due diligence period. And so, for those of you who are who are joining us for the beta course, the beta 8-week group coaching course that starts in January, we'll go into a lot more detail on this obviously, but I at least want to lay a foundation so you guys have an idea of what that looks like. So you ask for a 10-day due diligence period because you need to find out, one, you need to verify that the after rehab value is what you think. All right, you also need to verify that the rental amounts are what you think. You also need to verify that the rehab amount, if it's a rehab property, is what you thought. And if not, you need to be able to go back and renegotiate it, okay? So when you get the offer accepted, we have this 10-day period. And it's super critical that you jump on top of stuff right away. Just because we have 10 days doesn't mean you want to take 10 days. Ideally, you'll pretty much have your answer within 3 or 4, and the rest of the time is just like gravy, or it's there just in case you need it. All right, so if you're renovating, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to deploy general contractors. Like first off, you're going to get your general contractors to the property so that they can tell you how much the renovation is going to be, you know, if it's a fixer. Because you don't have to pay the general contractors to give you a bid. So you don't want to go get a home inspection as your first thing because that's like $400. And what if your general contractors could have told you that the renovation was going to be $90,000 and you only budgeted for 30? Well, you already know the deal doesn't work. So why get a home inspection at that point? Because you're just going to end up backing out of the deal most likely. Okay, so the first thing is deploy those general contractors. The second thing you're going to be doing, I say first, second, and third, but the rent verification and deploying the GCs, it's all kind of happening simultaneously. You're going to verify the rent. Now, with verifying the rent, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can call property managers and kind of interview them a little bit. And again, in the group coaching course, we're going to go into a lot more detail on that. But you can call and just ask them some questions and say, hey, you know, I'm interested in possibly hiring you. We have a property that we have under contract, and you can give them the address and you can tell them what it is. It's a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, a single family home, this many bedrooms and bathrooms. What do you think it would rent for? And most property managers will at least take an initial look and give you their opinion. Another thing you can do, and if anyone wants a link to this, I have a link that I can't remember. They have some kind of like special rate for new investors, but it's called Rentometer. It looks like Rent-O-Meter. But basically, you can put in the address and the number of bedrooms, and it will show you all of the properties in the area that have rented in the past 12 months, so that you can get an idea for what yours might rent for as well. All right, so if you want a link to that, you can message me and I'll shoot that off to you. But that's been a really helpful tool for us. And then you're going to get a home inspection. All right, and that way, if the numbers work from the GCs and then the rent verification came in, everything looks good. You just want that one final check. Because the GCs are not crawling in the crawl space, they're not getting in the attic, they're not climbing on the roof. They're kind of coming in, they're taking a look at everything, but you didn't pay them, you didn't hire them to do an inspection. Your home inspector is going to spend a few hours in there, testing every plug, testing the water, looking at the roof, crawling under the house, getting in the basement, looking at the foundation. They're going to do a much more in-depth. So the idea is you use a home inspection to make sure and catch anything that maybe got missed as far as the contractor's going out. All right, and then the next part of the process is funding. That's where you're going to contact your lender and submit your application along with whatever documents they ask for. And again, when I do the masterclass on the funding, I'll get into a little bit more detail on what all do they ask for and how you can be prepared. And then we're going to close remotely. So what does it mean to close remotely? So you're going to be dealing with a title company, and a couple weeks before the scheduled closing time, you're going to inform them that you will not be there for the closing. For most title companies, this is not going to like shock their brain. You know, they have people close remotely occasionally. And what that looks like is they're either going to email you all the documents and say, go ahead and get these ones notarized, and then you FedEx it back to them. They'll send you a FedEx slip or a UPS, or they're going to send you a mobile notary. And if they send you a mobile notary, the person will come with the documents. You give them your driver's license, you'll sign everything, and then so basically the mobile notary keeps control of all the documents for the whole time. All right, so that's closing remotely. Once you're closed, and the one thing about closing when you're doing it remotely is anticlimactic. Like you just basically get a phone call saying, okay, you're closed. Okay, because you signed all the documents like days before. So that's one thing. So you just have to like kind of muster up some excitement, because you're not like sitting at a closing table like you are when you're like buying your personal residence. All right, and then after that, once we're closed on it, if you're renovating it, then you're managing the rehab, and we call it a project overseer, but it's basically somebody who's going to go and look at the work that's been done by the contractor, somebody independent, like your home inspector, for example, to say that yes, the work was done before you send any money. Okay, there's a lot of different things that you can do to keep yourself safe when you're investing remotely. One of the things that people get in trouble with, and this is not a remote thing, this is a contractor thing, is investors will send 50%, a third or 50% of the contract amount to the contractor because that's what they say they require. So if the rehab is $40,000 and you send 20 before they've even started, what incentive do they have to do the work? You haven't offered any. And so it's just very easy for those liquid funds to leave. So there's a lot of different things that Jennifer and I put in place to make sure that that can't happen. One of those is we pay for work that's been completed. And not just completed, we pay for work that we have verified through our home inspector or our project overseer. It's somebody who would be able to look at the work and go, yeah, I don't think so. I can tell you did that to make the pictures look good for the owner, but that's not right. So it's someone who's local and experienced and knowledgeable in construction. All right, so that's one thing. And then we would wire the funds for whatever the project was. So we always tell our contractors, you'll get paid very quickly for anything you do, but you're not getting paid in advance. And some of them can't live with that. They're like, no, I got to have half up front. Okay, that's a deal killer. We're just not doing it. All right, that's just a very quick way to lose money. So, but we'll pay quickly as soon as it's been done and we verified it. And one of the things, just like with the realtors, one of the things that you can hold as a carrot is, look, when I do this project, I'm not coming into a market to do one project. If I come into the market, I'm going to do project after project after project. And if you do a good job on this renovation and we can figure out how to work together well, there's no reason you wouldn't be able to get all of our projects over time. All right. And then the next step in the process is just getting the property rented. All right. So that's going to be hiring a property manager to get the property rented. One thing that Jennifer and I do that's a little bit different, it's primarily because like eons ago, back in 2004 to 2006, I owned a property management company that I started from scratch. So because I had done that, I know all the processes for property management because I had to create them. I had to research it at the time and create it. So there's a lot that I already know about property management and certain ways I want things done. And I can't walk into some, established property management company and just bring in my own ways. So one thing that we do that's a little bit of a blend. And if you don't have a background in this, I don't know that I would suggest doing it. Even for us, it's a little bit on the time consuming side. So we might not always do this, but we do kind of a blend. So I have someone on the ground where our rentals are, who's a property manager, but they're not like a big company. And I handle certain things, like I do all the online advertising, but I drive all of the leads to my property manager. So she takes I don't talk to tenants. So she takes all the phone calls, does the screening, pre-screening, talking to them on the phone, schedules the showing, does the showing, accept the application fee, gives them the application, does all the screening, and then presents it to me like, hey, I think this person is good to go. And then I review everything. I usually ask a few more questions. I used to be an auditor, so, I'm always seeing certain things like, something doesn't quite add up, and then she'll research it, ask some questions, and then I'll make the decision, prepare the lease, and then she'll move them in. So we have kind of a blend. And then I have all the tenants send their rents in. That's one thing that I told her from the beginning. We're not collecting rent. All right. This is 2019. There's 150 different ways for them to pay online. Or if they really want to go drive themselves to the bank, that's fine if they want to do that. But look, there's Venmo, there's PayPal, there's Cash App, there's Zelle, there's Chase Pay. I can't even remember what different ones there are. There's a couple others in there. Oh, there's I'm blanking. You've already said Venmo. Anyway, there's all these different ways people can pay rent, right? So I don't need a property manager for me to collect my rent, deduct everything, and then send it to me. I just have all my tenants pay our accounts directly. So it's just something that's a bit of a blend, and that's an option for you if that's something that you want to do. It's something you can always talk about with your property managers. All right. And then ongoing review and oversight, what that means is, look, on a monthly basis, you're going to be getting from your property manager a monthly report. And I know we talk about, like, the name of our whole group is Passive Income Real Estate Investing. I have, for years, I started doing teaching back in 2006. So I have been educating people about real estate starting 13 years ago. And one of the things I always told people is like, look, the word passive is a little bit of a misnomer. I continue to use it because it's how people identify rental real estate. So I'll call it passive. It's really, really more like leveraged. Passive real estate investing doesn't mean you just do something and it's hands off and you don't pay any attention. All right. And when you do that, which naturally I did that when I was new, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching you guys how to do things better. It's not 100% passive. You still need to pay attention. Like someone needs to watch the shop. So that means every month when you get your report from your property manager that you actually look at it and just look at it. And what rents came in? What did they deduct for? And then going back and asking some questions. Even if you don't really have any questions, if it's obvious to you, plumbing bill or whatever's on there, still call at least every couple months. If you legitimately have a question, call every time you have a question. But if it's one where I don't really have a question, but I haven't talked to them in a little while, call them and say, hey, what is this plumbing repair for? Was this actually necessary? And just do a little bit of questioning, not because you don't believe it, just to keep them honest. Okay, because unfortunately, one of the things that can happen with property management is if it's someone else's money, it's very easy to just start deploying people, right? So you just want to keep them knowing that you're paying attention. It also keeps your finger on the pulse of what's going on with your property, with your asset. So don't take passive to mean, let me just lay down and forget that I even have anything and just wait for the checks to roll in. You still pay attention. You still need to be the CEO. Okay? Even though you have this entire workforce working for you, you're still the CEO and you need to pay attention to what's going on so that you know. All right. Oh, okay. Well, this is funny. Don't write this down because this is not really my phone number, but we have a really awesome graphic design lady that I just threw together a PowerPoint and said, could you make this look pretty? And she did. And then this is the last text. So she's funny. That's not my phone number. That's the 555 number that you see on TV. All right. So let me stop sharing. Cracks me up. All right. Was that helpful to you guys? All right, so I'll do Q&A. If you guys have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, and we'll take whatever questions we have before we wrap it.
Okay, I'm unmuted. This is Dave.
Dave, wait, I'm looking for you on the screen. Oh, okay, I don't see your. Okay, you're just on the voice, right, Dave?
Right.
Awesome. Okay, hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm good. I'm wondering. I'm wondering about property managers. What do you pay them and how?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. So what you pay them is going to depend on the property manager. But some of the common fees that you pay the property manager would be, sometimes there's a setup fee, which is just like an initial fee for them to go to the property, get your keys, just like setting everything up. So that's a common fee. Another common fee is a placement fee, which means when they advertise and they place a tenant, the tenant moves in, that there's a fee for that. And then the other most common fee is going to be just your ongoing management fees, which is typically a percentage of the rent. Now that could be a percentage of the collected rent or a percentage of the scheduled rent. And the difference between the two is scheduled means regardless of whether the tenant pays or not, you're paying a percentage. When it's on collected, they only charge once the rent has come in. Okay, so and different management companies do that differently. Some management companies also charge like an upcharge for maintenance. So they'll usually pay whatever maintenance bill. They'll probably have you put down a reserve of $300 to $500. So they'll pay whatever maintenance bill, but they might charge you like a 10% upcharge. Not always, but that's a possibility. Okay, so these are some of the common fees. The way that they get paid is, so when the tenants pay rent, let's say you have a duplex, and let's say it's $750 per side. So there's $1,500 a month coming in. So they're going to take out if it is 10% of rent, they're going to take out their $150 for their fee. And if they had placed a tenant that month for $750, that would be a $375 tenant placement fee. So they'll basically take the $1,500 that came in and they'll put it in their bank account. They'll keep $150 for the property management fees and the $375 for the placement. And then they will mail you a check or do like an ACH, like auto deposit into your account, whatever. It depends on what they offer and what you choose. And they basically send you the net, and then they send you a report that goes along with it. That should basically show you, here's what came in, here's what we deducted, and here's the net.
Okay, so you're having the tenants pay them, not you. And then
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And then what percentage are those managers getting?
Typically, so it depends on the type of property. So if you're talking about like 1 to 4 family, most commonly what I've seen across the US is between 8 and 10%, and 10% is the most common. But as you start getting more and more units, you can negotiate that. So that's just one thing to be aware of. As you start getting more and more units, you should negotiate it. Jennifer and I pay 6%, but that's part of that is because we also do a part of it. So most commonly, the property management company, they're the ones who are collecting the rent. For me, because I have that arrangement with our property managers, I collect it directly. So I don't have them do and I do all the bookkeeping myself. I don't have them do it. But more commonly, property manager collects the rent and then they send you basically the net. If you're doing a situation, Dave, where you're collecting the rent, but they would need to get paid, would be my best guess because I haven't done this before. But if I'm owning my property management company and I have a situation like that, I'm going to have my landlord put a $500 to $800 reserve in the account so that I can make sure, so they might get paid the rent, but I pull out my fees from that. And then they would be required to, to fill it back up every couple of months.
Thank you.
Just thinking like logistically, that's probably how I would do it if I was running the company.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
My pleasure. All right. Any other questions, or is everyone like, "Ooh, I wonder what people are going to ask"?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, can there be issues with working with a realtor that is also an investor?
Well, when you say issues, Audrey, kind of tell me what you have in mind, and then I can answer a little bit more specifically.
I've just heard of situations like where, you're working with the realtor and then you put in an offer and then like they go and put in an offer as well. I mean, they're allowed to do that. So it's not really, can that cause any...
Okay. So the technical answer is that's possible. However, if your agent is trying to make their money as a realtor, they're not going to make money as a realtor for very long. Because the other thing is, if you found out they did that, you could pretty much go to the board of realtors and just say, look, ethically, that bleeds all over the ethics.
Yeah.
You don't have a client who goes to submit an offer and then you go submit it, for $10 higher than them. Like it's just, so it's not that it's impossible for that to happen.
Right.
My belief is that if you think it's going to happen, what you're going to find is it will happen. It's just more of law of attraction. You literally have attracted it. So you can I give you permission right now to let that go. And that's not a thing. That doesn't have to be a thing. Does it mean it can't happen? No, but if they're trying to make money as a realtor, that would not serve them.
Right. Okay.
And chances are you wouldn't have found them unless it's somebody that you knew as an investor who just does a little bit of realtor work on the side. But that's not who we're trying to find. We're trying to find full-time realtors who know the market, who know what they're doing, who can actually truly be in service to us.
Okay.
So I think probably worst case scenario, what you might find on that, Audrey, is if somebody was an investor also, if they found a deal and they're like, ooh, that's a good deal, the biggest thing they're probably going to do is just not send it to you because they would make it themselves. Okay, well, whatever. That's why I have more than one realtor in a market.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give that any mental attention whatsoever. That doesn't have to be a thing.
Okay.
I got a question, Stacy.
Yes, Mark. Mark, my favorite gift person in the whole planet. This guy knows how to use gifts, and guys, that would absolutely blow your mind. Like, he's so entertaining. You just watch him on our Facebook page. He just keeps me constantly entertained.
We met a long time ago, and I appreciate everything you do. First of all, you're
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. I think for some of the people, realtors actually want to try and contain you in a box, and they want you to sign a contract with them. And I always tell them, sure, we're exclusive to this deal only, So they want to try and wrap you around. They want to hold you in the whole entire, they want you, they know what you're up to. So you got to be aware of that too. So that's something I'd like to throw out there. And remote flipping, to be very honest, we did a project that's 3,000 miles away. My very first house we've ever purchased. It was a challenge, but if you have faith in the team, it definitely will happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the reality is, even if you do a flip or rental in your home market, you'll say the same thing. It was definitely a challenge. It's because real estate's a challenge. This is not an easy business. And to Mark's point about, and thank you for bringing that up. So what Mark's referring to is something called an exclusive right, an exclusive agreement for a buyer's agent to help you. One of the things you can also do with that is, he's right, you can have them do an exclusive agreement just for the property. Something that I've done with my realtors to make it just even a little bit easier on both of us is I've had them add language to the exclusive agreement that says the exclusivity of this agreement applies only to properties with comps first provided by in their name. Because the reality is I would be exclusive to them anyway. Just my own business ethics. If someone sends me a property with comps, I'm not gonna go have some other realtor write it up. Like, that's just bad karma. I'm just waiting for, you know, my tire to get slashed or something, but I'm not gonna do that. And, but if they want to, or who knows, like maybe I run over a nail, you just don't want to do it. So I don't need an agreement to operate that way, but if it will help them to feel at ease about the work they're doing, because if you guys think about things from the realtor standpoint, it's always helpful to look at things from the standpoint of the person you're doing business with, like what incentivizes them. So from the agent standpoint, they're a little bit nervous about, well, if I do all this work, are you going to go ahead and like give it to your brother who just got his license? So what I always tell them, is that, look, I want you to make money on anything you bring me. So if you bring it to me, you bring it to me as comps, which means it doesn't mean it's one of 50 listings you sent me. I'm not exclusive to you on that. But if you take the time to send me the property with the comps, I will take the time to calculate an offer and submit it with you. And if you want me to send an agreement to that effect, I will do that. But I will only be exclusive to properties that they send me with comps. And they're the first ones. It's very rare that I actually get two different agents in the same market that send me the same property with comps. But in the unlikely, instance that does happen, then, I basically protected myself by saying first. That makes sense. So Mark, thanks for bringing that up. All right. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Allie? Wow, you guys are, whoa, hold up for just a second. Are you at home right now? Because, are you at home?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just have to tell everybody this. It's 5 o'clock here in San Diego, which let me see, what's 5 plus 8? 13. That means it's 13 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning where Michael and Allie are, because they live in England.
Yeah.
But they don't sound like they live in England, so they sound like they live here.
I'm in my PJs.
I know, he's in his pajamas.
That's commitment. All right, you guys win. What's your question?
We had a question about hard money lenders versus a conventional loan. I know typically it was more about the pre-approval process, because I know oftentimes when you go to a realtor and they will say, if you're doing a conventional loan or going that way or going through a property, they'll say, come in with your offer with a pre-approval first. How does that work with a hard money lender, or is that something, would it be completely
Great question. Yeah, actually, it's actually the same with a hard money lender. So you would contact the hard money lender, and they will pre-approve you also, or that is a possibility. They can pre-approve you. You can go with your letter. Another thing, and like when we're working together, I will go into more details with you guys about this. But one of the things that you'll do to be competitive is you'll write your offers with cash. And I have a personal relationship with a lender that will write a proof of funds letter in a way that it's so vague that it looks like it's cash, but it's not. And so it will impact the way that I have you write up your contract. Like, you'll put some specific language that will allow you to swap out the lender. But basically, when you submit the offer to the realtor, you will also submit that proof of funds, whether it's a pre-approval letter from the bank or this proof of funds from the hard money lender that looks like it's cash. Either way, that's what you do, just like you would for a regular house.
Cool. Okay, that's very cool.
Because that you're right, and that's a good question, Allie. That's always going to be a hang up for people, because they don't want to waste their time. If you like, oh, I'm going to buy this property for $200,000, they're not just going to be like, okay, and they submit the offer. They're going to be like, well, it's not your agent as much as it's the listing agent.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Waste their time submitting an offer. Have the listing agent go, show me a proof of funds. Show me that they can actually close on it, whether it's a pre-approval or if it's proof of funds that goes along with a cash offer.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Perfect.
All right. Any other questions? Can you guys hear my cat meowing in the background? He's like, Mom, you have been on the phone entirely too long. It's time for some attention from me. Cat.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh boy. Okay, you guys are going to stretch me here. Chat. Oh yeah, chat. Look at that. All right. See you, Z. Oh, is that Z saying see you? All right, Tina. Okay, we have our own contract. We want general contractors to sign. If general contractors have their own contract, do we sign theirs also? No, there will be one contract. So it's not a matter of it's right or wrong, whether it's yours or theirs. What I found in practice is when a general contractor is organized enough to have their own contract, I will take a look at it. If it's a professional contract, I'm mainly going to look to make sure that it has all the main points that mine has. Specifically, the one that wouldn't be in there is that you're going to have to add is, here's where the project end date is. Like, this is when the project will be done. But if it's not, then there's a per diem penalty. So if they say the project's going to be 8 weeks, I'll put in the contract 9 weeks, but then there's a per diem penalty. So if it goes longer than nine weeks, then every day it's $100, or I try to tie it to whatever the dollar amount of what my holding costs are between my hard money lender, property taxes, utilities, insurance, whatever that cost is, I'll come up with that, and that will be my per diem. It's not, I don't do less than $100 a day, but sometimes it's higher if it's a higher end property. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. And then actually, let me just wrap that up. So, so Tina, if you, oh, Tina, I just realized Tina. Tina, okay. Tina, who I came in and worked with in person, Tina, okay. Anyway, yes, but you don't want to have two contracts, because then which would rule in the case of a conflict? There has to be one contract that you just pick. All right, Francois, I hope I said that right. I did? Okay. What kind of rates and fees should we expect from hard money lenders? Okay, that's a great question. So hard money lenders will typically charge points and interest and fees, okay? Because I'm going to talk from 3 different standpoints. They also, and when I do like the full masterclass on funding, I'll get into more detail. Lenders lend based on a variety of things. Sometimes they lend on the after rehab value, like a percentage of the ARV. Sometimes they'll lend on a percentage of the purchase price in rehab, and sometimes they lend on the purchase price only. So that's the first thing you actually need to find out, is how much of a loan are you going to be able to get based on how they lend. The majority of the lenders in the US, like easily 95% of them, do purchase price and rehab. Okay, so that's what most of them do. So with points, so if someone says we're going to charge 3 points, 1 point is equal to 1%. All right, of the loan amount. So if the loan amount is $150,000 and their fees are 3 points, it's also called origination fees. All right, so 3 points would be $4,500, and that's a fee that's due up front. It doesn't mean like up front when you apply. It's up front as in the day that you close. That's when those points are due. Those origination fees are due. So that's one thing. The next is, and sorry, you asked the question, what's common? Because I have trained so many people and I've been involved with their hard money lenders and stuff, even beyond my own deals, I end up getting exposure to a lot of different people's lenders and stuff. And so what I'd say is most commonly what I'm seeing is between 2 and 3.5. But I will tell you, when I was a new investor, I was on the regular paying 5 points and 16% interest. Now it's more like 2 to 3.5 is the most common, and 12% interest. Now that's even a little on the high side. That's if you're new. If you've done several projects before, then you can usually get a lower interest rate. So interest rates are 10 to 12%, but when you're running your numbers, if you're new, I would just use 12% because it's the most common that you'll see. If you've got some experience, call around and get some feedback, but 10 is not uncommon. But it's not like 6 and 7%. But the other thing that you guys have to remember is this is short term. The hard money lenders, for the fix up part of it, you're only fixing it up for a couple of months. So don't get hung up on the fact that it's a big number. It doesn't really make a big difference. And you're not going to get a loan from Wells Fargo. They're not going to loan on that kind of property. On the refinance side of it, the interest rates vary greatly. So I've been quoted up to 8% on a rental property. When Jennifer and I did our portfolio refinance last year, we ended up getting it at 6%, which for me, I haven't been lendable in a regular lending environment so Mark's like, yeah. guess maybe you guys can't see it, but anyway, but at 6%, I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that because I was getting quoted between 7 and 8. He's saying 4. He's got 4%. Woo! Well, I know that because there's more and more lenders out there, hard money lenders that are moving towards the rental space, rates are getting competitive. So anyway, so on the refinance, that's going to depend on your credit score. It's going to depend on the asset class. It's going to depend on the market. And then the third fee, Francois, that is common is, I just call them other fees, junk fees, draw fees. So let me explain some of those. So different lenders have different fees, and they call them a variety of things. So there could be an application fee, there could be a legal fee, a processing fee, an underwriting fee, just because we want to fee. They call it whatever they want. The main thing that you need to ask when you guys are calling around is, what fees do you have? Besides the points and the interest, what other fees do you have? Because they don't typically just tell you. All right, so there's probably going to be an appraisal fee that you're going to experience also. There could be an inspection fee, and they could have no fees. So sometimes if they have no fees, they're higher in points. Sometimes when they're lower in points, you'll find they have higher in fees. They're going to make their money either way. They're going to figure out a way to do it. The fees, how they structure it, is simply marketing. All right, and then the other thing that's very common if you are going to be renovating is something called a draw fee. And a draw fee is something you'll pay every time you ask to be reimbursed for work that you did. So, and again, in the funding masterclass, I'll get into a lot more detail on that, but the gist of it is, if you have a $50,000 rehab, the lender is holding on that $50,000. They loan it to you, they don't give it to you. They're like, we're gonna loan it to you, but hold on to it for you, right? And then let's say you finish $10,000 worth of work, they verify it, and then they release $10,000. Well, they charge you $200 or $150 every time. That's called a draw fee. So Francois, those are the 3 common fees: points, interest, and other fees.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What was that?
I said thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. All right. All right. Well, thank you for pointing out the chat, because I just didn't even realize that was down there blinking. Are there any other questions that you guys can think of? No?
Great job, Stacy.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, it was a pleasure spending this time with you guys. Like I said, we're gonna on Wednesday on New Year's Day, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, really late London, midnight London. Michael and Allie, you're up for another late night of real estate fun. We'll be here. We're going to talk about financial analysis and walk you guys through how to analyze a deal. And on that one, I'm going to show you guys both for analyzing like a 1 to 4 family property, and also start educating you guys around doing. Was that you?
I bumped it. Sorry.
Jennifer bumped it, and all of a sudden there was a crazy echo in the room. And then
I saw my own face.
She saw her own face. And then I'm also going to show you guys how to analyze deals from apartment buildings, because in this group it's for passive income. So some people are starting with 2 to 4 units, other people are doing apartments. So I'm going to teach you guys both. So even if you're not ready for apartments yet or not interested in it yet, you can start laying your foundation of knowledge so that when you're ready, you can jump into that. And then for those of you who are just doing apartments, that'll be right up your alley. So we'll do that on Wednesday. Same thing. I'll have a PowerPoint presentation for you guys. I'll give you education, and then we'll do a Q&A after. Make sure that your questions are answered. Oh, absolutely. And Jennifer has something to say.
Okay, and I also want to let you guys know, if you're interested, 1 week from today, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to drop some tools and some of the things that we used when we were acquiring our dozens of doors. So I'll spend time with you a week from today. In the meantime, you guys get to be stuck with, the real expert back there. It was nice seeing you guys today.
There you go. All right, that's funny. This is the first time we've ever done a call when we're actually in the same room at the same time with Zoom on, so we're just having a good time. Anyway, hey, happy New Year's, guys. Have a great New Year's Eve tomorrow, and can't wait to see you on Wednesday, and thank you for being here.